Good evening and welcome everyone for this 51st Khangdong Lamhil webinar. We just begin the introduction this evening since one of our resource persons is from mainland India who won't understand our language. So this evening we will have a program in bilingual. So sometimes we may switch to Kuki, and sometimes we may need to switch to English. So please bear with us. And before we call the resource persons, I would like to introduce them to you. The first Hello. One minute, please. Yes, so sorry for the interruption. So the first speaker will be Chongloui. He's a very well-known entrepreneur in our community. And the second will be Sandeep Nair. He's a close associate of Paotinlen. Paotinlen, to many of us, he will be a well-known person. Ama he ho society ading MBA chai masapen loy anahin ichangeham kanin society sunga tiltha tha pu do ti ho nasatan anabolin ama hin MBA Finance and Marketing FMS Delia Anazovin sula MBA Anabol masangin Bachelor of Engineering Anabolin NIT Durgapura. Anya wako na academic excellence ahi in a heaven sula society sungwa tiltha tha tampi anapoda in ichhola gamin pathai chu technologies kiti career guidance counseling ahin chule competitive exam thanom ho coaching ho la pia hita chu changyam khana khangtha adesana UPSC exam adinga ki go ho alot hin theina dingwa pan anala tu cho hin tunilha ama resource person khana hung pan thaiting hi ikipa win ama dong apartment tamta hin pe do achunga ikipa thu asaiwe ama chungcha na saiding tam pium jong le apam hesa dong itam diwa hi in ana hitan chu ana phat sa ta diu hitin tun aloi pa Sandeep Nair he introduced in boring in. For many of us, the resource person for this evening, Sandeep Nair, is a new person, and many of us, including me, may not know, and this may be the first time of interaction with him. I would just like to read out a brief note about him. Sandeep Nair is the executive search at partner Xpertreach. He has more than 20 years in executive search, supporting leadership and senior management hiring, management consulting, power, infrastructure, manufacturing, industrials, FMCG, education, e-commerce, BFSI, VC funds, and startups. Past partner at Boutique Search Firm and co-founder executive search firm. He is a seasoned executive search professional with extensive experience of 20 years in retain and contingency search, leadership hiring consulting, and entrepreneurship. Sandeep holds a master's degree in social work from MS University Baroda and started his career in the personnel departments of companies such as Cadila Laboratories and Gujarat Borosil. Sandeep was managing partner for a leading boutique recruitment consulting firm, leading to a team of 60 members, providing recruitment solutions to 50 plus companies across the country. Sandeep brings over 20 years of experience leveraging a distinguished recruitment consulting background. He is a dedicated HR professional with experience in partnering with business leaders to achieve corporate excellence and drive recruitment initiatives. An out-of-the-box thinker, his expertise lies in the creatively balancing the needs of employees with the goals of the organization. He's such an innovative person. We are so fortunate to have you, sir, this evening. And as I said, I will call first Pauline to speak on talks on money and emerging careers post-COVID pandemic. So we now invite Pauline to speak on the topic, and which will be followed by Sandeep. Unan Latete.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
A very good evening to all of you. Thank you, Lulun, for the kind introduction. And hello to Sandeep Nair, my friend and also my partner in a lot of things that we do together. I'll be using both English and Kuki as a medium of for my presentation today. Without further ado, I'll go straight into the presentation. The idea was to generate a kind of discussion on what are the careers, what are the things that have changed after the pandemic, and what could be the careers that can come up. But then the issue with money was something that was really important that we found in this COVID period, that money, employment, and other issues were all interlinked. So we included the topic of money so that we can discuss and we can plan for a future. So without further ado, let me share the screen with you all. I'll be talking on money, as we know, which is really important. And I'll talk about a little bit of my own personal experience with money so that you can relate to it and then you can understand why we have included the topic of money today. The presentation for today is Money and Emerging Careers Post-COVID-19 Pandemic at the rate of 2021. A lot of things have changed since 2020. Many of us, if you're like me, an entrepreneur, you could have been really hit hard by the pandemic. I mean, many of the ventures that we have started, some of them, they died out. Some, with tenacity, we carried on. But the one thing that always was uppermost in our head was money. I mean, will the money that I have would be sufficient to last through the pandemic? Or you could be having money goals or retirement plans or a lot of things to do with, is that money that you have would be enough to survive through the pandemic if it continues? Or if I lose my job, what will become of me? Those were the ideas. Those were the things that strike my mind as an entrepreneur. And for people in the government sector, these things are not so important, but people like me, an entrepreneur and professionals, this was an issue which was uppermost in our minds because we were really hit hard by the pandemic. Now, Let me first talk on the topic of money, and then I'll move into emerging careers. Sandeep will add his inputs, and then I will open the forum for for you to come with your own ideas, your experience as to how you were facing in terms of your career, in terms of money matters during the pandemic. And we want to take this as a series, take this discussion as a series, because we believe it is not only one person's knowledge that matters. When the crowd comes together, we can find better strategies to cope with this kind of pandemic. I mean, we never know when the next pandemic is going to hit us again. So with this discussion from and inputs from all of you and from our side, we can come up with a strategy that can prepare us better to face this kind of pandemic, which I believe could be sadly no than just a one-off, because the virus that hit us this time could hit us, a different virus could hit us again, or something else could hit us. But the pain that we go through is kind of something that we need to prepare ourselves. Now, why I chose the topic of money? Because if you ask me as an entrepreneur, if I have seen money, I would say yes. Have you made money? I would say yes. Have you lost money? I would say yes. Was there a time when you were badly in short of money? I would say yes. If you ask me, was there a time when you spent money so much that you don't even think anyone would advise you, but then you are sharing your wealth with your teammates, you're taking them out for dinner, and you're spending as if there's no tomorrow. So I have seen the ups, the downs of money. I mean, when you have money, you tend to be careless. You don't think of investing. You think as if money would last forever, and you don't save for a rainy day. And when you're hit by a pandemic like this, you think, oh, I wish I had not, spend my money like that. So the one lesson that I have learned is during this pandemic, yes, our incomes were affected. We can't do business as usual, or people who work in the private sector, some of them get laid off, and some of them get paid less. And people in the government, yes, you were lucky, but if the overall economy gets hit, you might also have to take the hit. So what I realized is, though the earning opportunities have come down, we can save. We have saved on petrol, we have saved on travel, and we have saved on so many other things. Though the pain is there, so if we can save up, and like for example, once the pandemic is over, if we can practice some of the frugality that we use during this pandemic, we could save up and use this money to invest for our future. So the idea is to take this money talk series uh, into 2-3 series, so that we can talk in depth about mutual funds, about investing in stocks, long-term investments, and about, if you are interested, we can talk about intraday trade. Chomlap ga saving chun, I'll switch to cooking now, Sandeep. Huh? Chomlap ga saving chun, pandemic ahin, bitam ta, government na tong ho chule boy base phone, private na tonga alole, business boloy atamzo, in chen low chen hunga sa, tale sumlepai, iti anakigolo holding achu, saving ne holding achu, angola thele wa hung boy khai, ti achu, ichi pandemic face wa hi, sumthu hi, isay diu kadayin, sumthu isay tingle, entrepreneur ho hin kwa hi, sumine ipat le tam pipi kine inay lo tin la boya ki boy. Ati achu chi problem hi entrepreneur ho se put. Ami jo sin ki face kadi, sum hi iti ki good de ham. Alo le private na tong ke hi ale sum hi emergency fund jat tam kan ei ngayam. Ti ho hi planning an ngayin. Ai wanga planning an bana chun hichi pandemic sunga thilkhat kamu do chu pem tile. Thil tampi hi sum private na ho alo alhom wangin savings tampi do the ina pana to le china petrol la ki sumang le polanga anne na kiti ho janam khat hun ki cut down ale sumi savings hi akal akaleti ke kahin ko ta ka mui chu hi ale chun future wa elo la khunwa in ko wa hi investment ti dan chu share ham elo le goal ham elo le mutual fund ham khana invest bol the di ham ti pa hi ki ho limited ya hi tuni series ki pan hi mi khat che chen mi yo se a he re pui hi chi hi mi pi hong khoma share khom ting le idea tampi hi in share ting le khanan khara pana ki zila thil tampi hi strategy iti tabang pandemic hi kit ding hi ta san se pur kit ding ai min akoy dai ti tabang pandemic tabang situation hi kit ting le ready ni du in ki go duty ya chi presentation hi go he private na tong ni ale emergency fund na ngai. So if you are in a private sector, check if your money situation is okay. So if you are in a private sector or a private job, and if you are an entrepreneur, the usual practice was to have 3 months of emergency fund. I mean, 3 months of your pay. To ahi itita amite ale. Chi pandemic jo wa ki mu chele 6 months be emergency fund ngai 6 months di chu na tong holding a tolop like kei bang chun ICICI bank ka tong tai. Lakhat jo ka tolop he tai. Ale lakhat ka tolop ya le chun lagu be chu emergency fund ka nei ngai na to ka chil de ham alo le ti tabang uncertain events o tin ka cover na dinga chu aba na loan na carry but your loan portfolio should not be more than 30%. It should be less than 30. Na salary mu so 30% bo ju loan na nei ngai house loan ham car loan ham chi khela chu loan na la lo di thi de. Increase your safe assets as you age. Have medical cover. Tichu ikumal home ting lehin risk tichu imu yong tam a danger yong tam tinahin na ei pawa sei dinga chomlam ta sei dinga nakum home la ya chu risk tampi na la the awa nakum hung tam jeb le fixed deposit ho alo la save jeb wa hi na suhin na koi di ne he have a medical cover. Tichu family khadin ho hin yel to people in medical cover. Titabang medical insurance in ite te ngain atale hichi pandemic nga ki mudo khatsu koi chu pathen in iti ni le ain ko dham ti ki hello hin atia chu novil alo le kathia le ka in sumi in iti hum ki man cha diu ham sumla pai ka ne hoi list down bola ki koi pha de he ti chu hichi pandemic in he lu khat chu hi tunia presentation atamzo halan system hin amana say to be penju account thum needing khatchu income ading khatchu spending ading khatchu saving ading account thum bank thum needing I tula ya ju bank thum account ki ne yong le UPI base in by ta ju na mobile apna once ke maintain the na so account thum in ya discipline ki ne yeti ne income ading account khat needing spending iman cha ding ho account khat needing save bol ding as account khat needing living cost alole nakiman cha na one them alole bule me na cho na cho chu abons ke aung ki go male the living cost chu 40 to 45% sangar home ngai take home hele taxi ma mio se kila do jo inanan pu lut pa eho a ju ya le tai jong he lut ngai di tai na pi jo wa the sum hung lut pa 40 to 45 living cost anaman hi jo khela le chun reduce di atal EMI ne ya le chun 25 to 30% of take home hi ngai ti sang ada wala le you have to start disciplining yourself saving in a day ngai saving it 15 to 20% take home hi ngai medical cover hi in sungai nei te ngai khat government atong ho chun le government cover yongomin tal company atongon company policy omin hi chi chung chu na chu a cover lo tham khat omji ji khu medical cover extra kila angai no to copy ti zo dan chu company khat chu life insurance kala ale medical insurance kala ale 70% ka pay due, non 30% the pay due tipa ko pay kiti. Hichipa jawlwa 100% cover ho na la de ti ne. Family floater, family had in shareable home to 15 to 3 to 15 lakhs ka ahi family floater policy kila ding upon small town ho infal ho dunga 3 to 7 lakhs of apakop se jing metro acheng amy delhi vela cheng ho dinga sum tampi ne alawa 15 minimum ma ju ila alawa the first class health infrastructure to access ki bol trading tine life cover hi ila tingle in insurance hi idon povin ati aju amy hoi akhanga hi waham khatju aphalo athi ale akhanga hi kile do we pa ham khat elo le inu ham khat elo iso pi khatin cha ne ya thi sanale life cover ma hi ila wa hi cha te we lo le khangkit khari again the elo le ama hodinga support umji lo we life insurance ila ting le ho di head heal khat ji pi hamit ya le investment to ikoi khat iklap khajin sabawa ase dinga when you take life insurance plan it should always be pure term life chi tabang hamit ya le investment jawlo to agent on hungzo ko endowment ti ja ti ho traditional plan ho so who la lo de pure term life ti ji pi ham dila cost ho ma na thi ai le nin ko te ju ju crore khat amu di hichi ho tabang investment portion lo le mudi lo ewa thi dabang na tu ale nin ko te ju huge sum with very less payout dan ju khana sangli sanga na pe a lo sang som ham khat na pe a thi dabang na tu ale crore khat nin ko te na mu chu na thi lo wala chun I ma chan mu lo chapa khu tom pure term life iti na pure term life insurance plan hichu hu any financial planner with his with some credibility amon hichu hu suggest abola ta le chu hu la ding long min ke bang chun endowment hoy kanala in a premium asan ji chun khat mi vela ki jui hi tai to again ka jui hi ta baham tile pure term life 50 lakhs kan in 50 lakhs kan in ye chu follow bol long halo tale insurance ju ho nang ko mang se di chu julip line ati di hiji market to link a purpose of term life insurance pam dil cover in case I die kathi namang male ka in ko te ju life cover po hi pure term life la te di atali a bezer iti bol dham itiale either you take a very big amount or small amount chipa decision la thending ajo halan advise I 10 into annual take home income or 15x or 20 times of annual expenditure to an annual expenditures to 20 times so many way la man bol so now investment na bol teng lahin tamta in ki bol ko ipi ki bol ham del investment to hi stocks langai hum ki ta market ko down ting le invest nange ta ki nga pa hu ki thele so you cannot time the market so you have to draw up an investment plan and work accordingly atale investment na bol dinga le chun you should have a goal to anai cha hi ipiham ka goal chu medium term ka goal ipiham ka chate jine ya mere ka goal chu ipiham izat ka invest dem ti hoi e khat na plan dung ju ya chu invest na bol nine tale na goal chu dan chu you have to travel abroad you want to travel the world then you have to put a monetary value on these goals izat hi ngain te di chu na goal se chu na define hilowa sumiza dinglu din ti chu estimate na bol ngai so tu ni plan na se male tu ni a hin invest di thi ne ye chu jinga khat opportunity hoise hungin te lo le share market na ka investing le share market hung down in tin ting le kalut de tio ki bol the lo if you're serious about drawing up a proper investment plan, then you should decide and understand how much you need to invest, and you have to invest it today. The asset class here, the portfolio are different asset class too. Gam ne khat the choding, gola tham khat ne khat ding, tale fixed deposit ho tham khat no koi ding, PPF, lo equity to stock market na tham khat no koi ding. Na hop khenale khat pen abu ya yo ne portfolio lo le na sum le pai ju ne na go chu save the lie. Aban review kitin investment portfolio he chihi eho mi hon tamzo hin investment ha bolo win sauta ka selo de 5 to 10% ma hi gola quieting allo le government bonds real estate he adita ju in he mi tham kare sele in the first pa khu expense in second pa asset allo le income generation he atiwa win financial advisor tamzo wang hin real estate na he one house over your head and no more khat pa khu til tang asset class tam pio me in khat tha jo ke sang chu khat na ne ya nang na chen le income tax are savings plus other benefits of in khat na cho ling se na save atale investment portfolio hi FD sung na tham khat na koi the PF tham khat na koi TPF tham khat na koi the tale debt funds ki ti hi stock eho a power saving chu simple as ga say diga chu stock market na hilo se share bazara lo se ho government funds or debt funds ki ti mean cha hono ko the but ki ti safety ne corporate deposit o mean chi corporate deposit CD ki ti cheat funds ki ti ho gama hizat na mu ala hizat na mu ding tia ki se ho cheat funds ki ti I chot ta banga hi the chana hi ki gam hat se ngain alo le very enterprising over the moon promising schemes of Manipura and Pulun ho ke kisan ko ma hungzu uguro mi joku likichi the ye chu in finance are high risk high return ta ju khat bi khat nang ko ma hi cha he invest la na how na man sa te ti chu heading ngai ne. So now the third thing is debt exposure. For example, equity le debt equity. Equity jo power saving stock market na share sumiza na koya safe lang fixed deposit ho le government debt ho izat na koy rem tiale nakum dungzu ya hi ki koy the kaju 30 when you are 30 years your debt should be 30%. The rest should be in terms of equity. When you are young, you can take more risk, so your portfolio should be more of equity. The stock market na investment na hin tam ko heding, but nakumata male a safe investment ho in the whole kind he. Equity le share market na hi kyo in intraday yung ka ball win hin atam zo wang hin long term hi invest na bol hi azois kum sigi kum so nga in tale equity hi phatiza bol ji hena ikoya le kum som vela hi atam zo hi any other asset class any other investments angai hung phachum zo hi eho Manipura hi 5% 10% ki pitui je wai sumyo tam thi ai wa investment hi return hoi be se share market thui se yale tham khadin phachum be se lo inge over the years I went knowledge safe eho sum kipi to sang save yo so the return comes around 12 to 15% per year equity ana lu dingale mutual fund hi suggest about with mutual fund na itabang bang pham digenere wala chain lang like say tv If you don't have the ability to choose fund, invest through index funds or ETF. Index fund le ETF kiti mean if funds if you can choose them tin hello le chiteni and bolte. Mutual fund na he invest about no mile. They had there's a cost involved. It's nangin can direct our stock ke chokwele in ki decide there's a sum extra ke pelo. Fund mutual fund I look thing like manage manager fund manager hin ama hi tham khat ki pe na stay invested and be careful not churn your MF portfolio. Mutual fund I invest na bol thing le khat velega cho na khat velega zo do jot bolo de long term invest bolity ne ye chu nang na phat chok lo e. The same thing. At a younger age, you can take more risk, and the further you are from your goal, the more risk you can take. Itu kei bang chu MBA kei bang ach chu thing lang mi hi je uchun inui panyo stock selo le share nei khalo hi. So ikipat pana chu education loan kile sa hi ne hoy. Ate investment hoy ane ki bol kolo bol bo ane ki gel. For example, itabang mutual fund ayong itabang mutual fund to invest ball. For example, near term goals to anaivel kumthum noilam goal na yale. You should invest in ultra short term or conservative hybrid. Medium term, these are 3 to 7 years investment goal na yale chun. You should invest in aggressive hybrid or diversified equity. These khatse se equity khatse se new jacket equity sector khatse se ham khat focus lo diversified hi karana ko ngai long term hi alachun na long term an ko ya chun diversified equity heading multi cap mid cap lo small cap funds an ko editi nei. The retirement plan he nene yale no government atong hawang chu ji boy piu nga hin kyo private atong le entrepreneur ngai to diu chu retirement he 10 to 15% of your salary na koi do te ngai at the age of 30 if your retirement fund is zero then you have to save 30% of the post tax income and so on 50 50 nailam hoding ai khat chane nei lo wale ai the chana tamzo hi income tamzo hi aki word ngai the retirement adinga ki save ngai retirement kitty at 60 years should be between 18 times to 35 times of your annual spending adan chu lage calculating chu kum som gu hi teng le izat ka spending ham tipa jana ga calculate na ti chu som lagi to 35 times is that to the retirement fund has te ngai ho hin atamzo in Paotinlen state and government atong hi je iboi pi set poi tu khangtha ho atamzo hi government atong lo private na lo le mi noi atong tam tai ta win cho hi igel kho diu phat ang ta nei. So now nasum koi alo le isum hi ipina tha ke ma personal experience ka share le MBA ka simin ta le finance ka to wang ke hi ni ta marketing measure ka ni ka to ma sang cha ai le e ho ki kho kha da na hi na to ding hi iti mu de ham ti to ikihil ta le i target to sum iti lo de ham ti to target ikihil ama sumi mu teng le sum i lo dam di ki lo he rich dad poor dad I say about we are taught how to earn money but we are never taught how to use money to earn money for ourselves. It is sum na hard earn money to it has to work for you. It is to ki bol lo so la kabol ki kha pe ham ke ho company a chu car petrol a ye pi ale car petrol free ka mu ja chu car hi kha ka chogut ale car chu kasum saving a ka down credit card a kana chokhai cha credit card ka credit card ahung revolve hale ka kema financial position chang khare na so so MBA sim ke ho bangin jo tabang mistake su ka bola le adam tam te yo bol din ka ta credit card AP ule thanu. So when you have a credit card, you should control your spending and pay off your credit card bills in totality. Credit card ne hon head you to credit card are revolving power 36% no 36% per annum interest charge plus all the late fees and all the penalty charges. Akiko male 48% maybe even close to that. So nasumi tamangina thaham credit card man helhin man thana aloles credit alole financial position ansu se hicha hung ki pane khangthao credit card tha la ho ne head you it is debt trap in finance. It is a short thing to get yourself into a debt trap. So if you are having a credit card, please control your spending and pay off your credit card bills in totality before the due date. You can take money for home loans. That is okay. But never take personal loans to fund your lifestyle related consumption. They too much nom bol nom nani ho cho I the chana personal loan holding la lo home loan wang la the and stock market alone mutual fund he systematic investment plan kitin khasia he dan sanga nga share le mutual fund cho dinga he the toloma pana he the pay do ale you should keep continuing market to sometimes the stock market goes down comes down. It goes up, it comes down. Market to any condition you should keep investing. So at the end of the day, after so many years, the power of compounding compound who he ding tale khatvele homana choding khatvele tamana choding honki got mal average always do better. Chipa he SIP khatwang he amy1 khangtha hoin nanato first year nato apna very small amount you should start your SIPs. So the main discussion for today is emerging careers post 2021. So I will be asking your opinion as well. Hichi section pa he atamzo English and saying it because Sandeep would contribute. So it'd be better if I conduct the whole session in English. Emerging careers post 2021. I mean, a lot of things have changed. I have been in career counseling for almost 20 years. We started a group called TECHKNOWGIZ way back in 2000 to 2001 in Delhi. We were a bunch of students from management schools, IITs, RECs, and various other engineering colleges. Looking at the condition of our society, many of us would, blindly go for IAS exams or for government services without considering other options. So there was a lot of stereotype that goes in cookie society, thinking that we cookies are not good in maths or science. So most of us end up being generalists or administrative services. So we are doing very well in those careers. So the bulk of us go there, but the funnel was very small. I mean, the chances of people getting an IAS into the IAS cadre is very small because during our time, it was hardly 350 to 400 seats. So a bunch of us came together and we said, why don't we start a professional approach to career and start a dialogue on what kind of career this community should focus on. So we started focus on medical sciences, engineering, and other professional courses like law and then journalism and all this. So we started spreading out, and then it was much before the explosion of internet and mobile services. During those times, I mean, the information to careers were very limited. So what we did was we started a magazine called Xpertreach, and we started conducting all this career counseling in Manipur during our vacations. So the first career counseling that we did was in 2002. So I'm just giving a background on how the group came about. So TechChapas was a pioneer in disseminating information on careers and also talking to students and also encouraging them to go for IAS or IPS if and only if they have the capacity to achieve it, not just because somebody is doing it, they have to do it. So we professionalize the approach to being a general administrative guy or who has the aspiration for UPSC should go for it. Yes, you should go for it, but you should only go if you have the capability and also the capacity and also with 2021. And the good news that we have is we have one cookie girl who got through this year, and there's a ray of hope. But a lot of things have changed since. So the emerging careers post 2021, which we think, and this information is from McKinsey report. Digital marketing, digital brand managers, content managers, CRM, and email marketing specialists would would be in high demand. And online teaching, uh, even all the schools are done through online. So TeachMean and companies like TeachMean would be doing very well in the post 2021. And cybersecurity professionals, beauty influencers, and makeup artists, and freelancing options such as content writing, fashion designing, graphic designing, photography, public relations, coders and programmers, translators and marketers. These are the careers which we think will do very well post 2021. And some of the careers that we have observed survive and thrive during this period. This is from my own experience. Network marketing groups like MWay and other network marketing groups, they were thriving during the COVID period while the whole world was, losing jobs and stuck at home because they came under the delivery services came under essential services. And the other uh, career that the other area that wasn't affected by COVID or COVID restrictions were home delivery and takeouts and cloud kitchen. Cloud kitchen or ghost kitchen is a concept where you don't have a regular restaurant, but you have the kitchen functioning somewhere at a low cost, and you engage Swiggy or Zomato and you deliver it to your clients. So companies such as Zoom, and we are using it today, are doing very well. And online business and daily stock traders, and the number of people getting into stock market trading on a daily basis had really gone up. The trend started in US and other European countries through the use of technology. They have started this, the number of demat that have that have been used for daily trading has really gone up in those countries. Then that get replicated here in India, and now the number of demat accounts that were opened last year to this year, have shot up by at least 5 to 6 times. So streaming platforms are doing very well. Netflix, Sony Live, Prime Videos. Now the question is, these are some of the things which we think are doing well. Now, what we want to hear from you is what is your list and what do you have to say on these things. Uh, this session is basically more of trying to engage you to come up with your own ideas and share it with us so that we can strategize better. So I'll hand it over to Sandeep to give your input on the careers post 2021 and what you think the job market would be like, and your input basically on job markets, the trends that would emerge. So handing over to Sandeep.
Yeah. Thank you, Len. Thank you for the introduction. Kind of you to say good words about us. And it was a very informative session which you gave, and it is for everyone. It is not only for the the youngsters, but everyone would at some point of time, it's a revision of what one should do as far as money management is concerned. So that was good. But when we talk about money, careers are not far behind, because everyone works in an organization or is an entrepreneur and always wants, to grow. So a lot of things have been covered by Len, but I just wanted to tell, the pandemic has affected everyone, including the job market and the careers. And the way there are changes, suddenly everything got shifted. People started working from home. They didn't know how to manage. I'll just give a background of what actually happened as far as the job market is concerned, because I'm closely associated both with my clients as well as my candidates. My candidates whom I place in companies, and my clients to where I support and add value by giving the right kind of people. The first thing, I would divide the whole, pandemic, careers and pandemic, the way things have changed into four parts. And a lot of those, what I'm going to say is very common as to everyone has actually experienced in their lives. Is the first 6 months of pandemic, everyone was in a state of shock. The organizations didn't know what to do. The employees didn't know what to do, how to handle this. So 6 months, it was total freeze. There was nothing which actually happened. People waited. They didn't know what kind of animal this COVID is. So there was employee. And what happened was, after 6 months, they realized that there is a key impact on certain certain sectors, like hospitality industry, tourism industry, transport industry. Everything got and therefore people who were employed in these organizations, it did make a difference to them. Then after 6 months, organizations started, because they are for-profit organizations, they started working towards what best can be done. FMCG companies put their act together. A lot of companies started working. People started getting comfortable working from home. Their productivity increased. Tech companies did well. And slowly things were happening. And then suddenly, the second wave happened. This was much more, it was worse, because this is the time when people actually started dying and people were really scared. But when we look at this particular stage, that is the time when the realization came and people started asking questions: when would the pandemic go? What both the companies and the employees realized that they need to change, and that is what has if you ask me what has happened, there's a major change in the way people are looking at employment, and employers are looking at employing people, and employees themselves are looking at something wherein they could do what they were not doing. So what has happened is that some organized. So if I divide the sectors, so I can divide this in 3 areas: high risk, medium risk, and low risk. The high risk sectors which were affected were the retail sector, the tourism sector, the manufacturing sector, anything got to do with accommodation, food. That the medium risk would be entertainment, finance, constructions. Things were happening, but at a low pace. And the low risk were agriculture, health, education. Now, it's a mixed bag. While it's a fact that people have, lost jobs, but certain new things have also come. And I would always look at it as positive what are the positives? Positives are that, the education sector has grown phenomenally after that. Online education, there are Coursera, etc. The e-commerce business has grown. People have realized that one can actually use e-commerce for running their business. Entrepreneurs, have started using the online methods to sell their products. Overnight, there are some people who have really grown up. So they have done business through net. So certain things which we thought were not possible are now actually possible. There are people who are actually giving guitar classes to their customers, which was never thought of. And thanks to pandemic, I mean, you have a talented person who actually is a good guitar player, who's teaching, and he's got students and he's earning. Same is for cloud kitchen, which Len was talking about. People actually have got business from there. So there are areas where people have gained out of this, but yes, people have lost jobs, and that brings us to the question is what could be the solutions for this. I talk to clients as well as to what is it that they are looking for. What has actually happened is people are trying to reinvent themselves. There are certain areas where I thought there would be a difference in the way you look if people are looking at the way they are going to look at careers post-pandemic. And again, I will divide this into two parts. One, people who are already working, and the second part with the people who are aspiring to work. People who are already working should right now work. I mean, the one thing which is very important is upskilling themselves. That is very important. People who are not good at PowerPoint presentation or in Excel, all those, and we're very happy not doing this, have started doing that. Because now the interaction is different. It's all virtual. So upskilling oneself is very important. Being proactive, talk to the organization management. How can you add value in the organization? Now there are certain roles like a facility manager. You would not need someone like that. What does that person do? One can always talk to the organization as to what value one can add there. And again, keep on looking at the opportunities which are there in the market, which are good opportunities. One can always look for it. And that brings me to the second part of people who are aspiring to look for jobs. If you are good at something and that particular sector is not doing well, this is the time we could strategize. What you would want to do. If you are passionate about something, you can continue doing it. The pandemic will go, but it will take some time. But if there are areas like copywriting, coding, content writing, teaching, online teaching, these are the areas where one can actually work more. This is also the time when one can actually work on the skills one has, and one can really enhance those skills, because those are the things which are really going to help the person, people who are aspiring for roles. This is also a time when people can, when aspiring students can do with their competitive exams, because of the fact that there's no interaction, this is the time one can look at what is there in the world, what kind of courses are available. I think that's the best time for people to do that. So, this is what I have seen. I can go on about the experiences with the client says as to what kind of people they'll be looking, but I'm happy to answer questions as to what are the areas of concern. If I can support there, I'm happy to do that. Over to you, Len.
Yeah, thank you so much. Apart from Pulane's talk on how to manage money in these hard situations and how we will avoid this type of financial difficult situations if we prepare ourselves well in advance. So that was greatly an eye-opening. And the other thing that he shared, the opportunities that COVID pandemic has given to us. That was really kind of inspiring, as well as it shows us a new way on how we can involve ourselves and then how we can make use of this. And so Sandeep also had added great points in the line of Pulen's contributions or Pulen's talk. This pandemic has given us new opportunities where we can upskill ourselves and we can pursue on the passion that we have. Say like content writing or something which we can do through online. People who are talented in guitar or any kind of expertise we have, we can reach out people all around the world where we can share our expertise, and also we can generate income through those expertise we have. Thank you so much, and we thank both the presenters. To him, question hong ki dong ho ana veo hitin. Question hong ki dong ho. It's chat box hong ki pi ama sa pen hi. Mutual fund kahet be no me. Jule vet sa 5,000 kan ye hichu. Iti mutual fund invest kabol diham ti he hichin amin thang tu boy kukia ko na hin. Ji Pulen discussion chun talk chun amin phan ako na hung kiji ding dan hin ji Pulen in hin explain pe ule ke paw mente
Kimuam.
kimuko
Sir, mutual no ya itabang pen hoiding ham SIP le MF started dia which pen posidium. Choi personal ayong answer te na India sunga top 10 schemes to pen I can list down in na Axis Blue Chip Fund Mire Asset Min tulay eho khanga phat na ju biam tile everything is available online. The only thing is a macro picture here ngayin tale ipipen ka bolding ngayam ti tiltam pi gelo a mutual fund hi a top list a somsunga hin na de na henan na zau ju phoyo. It is better to invest in some mutual fund which comes in the top 10 or top 5 than to think of I'll invest or I won't invest. Na emi hoi bui now ju biam ti ho hi hi investment hoi khosa poin ken jong tampi kana ball in the ICICI Bank of like ai market ahung down phan ka ju cha en le akum ki chun tampi ahung kalin ti ta bang chu ke ho no mistake ka ball wala chun adang ho no ball ju ka ta simple ta mutual fund na hi to list down ka ball so mola khat pen pa na ball din the alo le chol small SIP so ikat Gmail account yung chakra ki pat thelo na bank account na ham thi question dang answer na am koi do ham je loan
ai chi chu to ana sai pen chu
ta list ka bol wa hi na khat pen na invest jing the adong pa jun question dang at nei bia la ka answer the na
ning nei moi kiti akona hin pen partly to first question ka hin simpen chu hin chi vet sana in 5,000 tabang kan ye hichu mutual fund invest bol thayam ti he plan za thayam
ikat stock market na experience nei lo lai hoi na tamzo mutual fund ai top 5 ai ki pa jing the na bacha gel ko khulwa question dangam le question danga chu te chu ka personal email id yong ka pia na lun.
Okay.
I can answer them in a very specific manner. Tale, Hichi sitting, I should not be giving them this thing. Idea of this interaction was to instill the spirit of search and for them to learn more and to be wise. I mean, there are so many advisors in the market, but my advice to you is, please take charge of your life and also your finance. Now you also learn about it. You find out what are the mutual funds which are doing well. 5 years are return PPM, 3 years are PPM. Then you invest. But as I can tell you from thumb of rule, mutual fund is always a good way to enter into the equity market. Whatever the NAV, you enter it. You cannot time the market, enter the MF market and keep on investing small amounts and keep on doing your SIP with discipline. Nah, over the period of time, you'll get the power of compounding will work in your favor and you'll make a lot of money. So mutual fund is quite a reasonable way to enter into the equity market. And please read up on finance. Please read up and try to equip yourself and ask around. You can ask me on a one-to-one session. Nah. Now there are a lot of other people. So if there is any other questions, I'll answer that question.
George Gindenmang to thang ngago na in stock market assume invest iti bol ni ham gatsanan 1000 kanidai PT invest ka bol di ham atuma apps ay lo le bank a chingai ham ti
stock market na invest na bol no male you should have a demat account. Okay, demat account tu la abaya ta zero da upstock tewahu one sitting you can create your own account. Ay lo wale if you have account, if you have any other bank, if you have any other bank account, SDFC, you have ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank has ICICI Direct. So you can, or SBI must be also having this thing. K1 and ICICI Direct to Jerdai Kamangin. They're quite easy and they're quite good. So if you want to invest even 1,000 rupees, you should have a demat account. So it's very easy to open a demat account. It is very easy to operate. So if you're interested, you please read up and you please visit your bank, or you can do online, or you can open your demat account online. It's either Upstocks or Zerodha. These are both good. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, great. And about life insurance sum invest bolding head no.
If you take my advice, don't invest in life insurance. Life insurance is not for investment, not at all. Life insurance is a cover. Cover tichu thinaman nanne yale nadala nachate helole. Nen sungmi in buile la hin hu azom the diwa life insurance product na investment holding ale please in somewhere else, but don't combine these two. There are so many endowment schemes and all that, but if you ask me personally, I don't believe in all those endowment plans. Go for term life, pure term life. Like you'll be spending hardly 10,000 to cover yourself for 50 lakhs. If you have to enter the market very young. If you enter at the age of 25, if you start working at the age of 22, 25, you should take a life covered at that point. So even if you take 1 crore, it will be hardly 10,000. So insurance should not be seen as an investment vehicle. It's a power say sum atong day na insurance is join loading. Insurance is thinaman na kanyale kanu kapa alolke chunga dependent ho kachate in akhad kho fund akhad kho vet suini aki bol ya chu return expect bol ho de return expect ale chun please invest in either stocks or either land or any other asset class, gold or any other thing. Investment to achoma gelding, the life insurance to term life. Term life to insurance company or already they want you to buy endowment plans or the traditional plans because they don't make much money in term life. But term is actually life coverage. Nah, many financial planners and people who are really into advising people in terms of their financial health, they will never advise you to think of life insurance as an investment. I hope that answers your question. Nah?
Yeah, great, thanks. Also, laba not kidong chu SIP le MFE.
SIP is a way of investing into anything. You can do a fixed deposit and use SIPs. SIP to systematic investment. So SIP is basically what you plan, yeah. So what you do is you put a certain amount of money every month or every week into into buying a stock or into buying a fixed deposit. It's up to you, nah? Or buying a mutual fund. So mutual fund to SIP, or you can use an SIP to acquire mutual fund. So these two are different ideas, nah? SIP to itin invest something in. Mutual fund is a class of investment, nah?
Kipao me. The lawyer pass on question Kalani Gadong. Now the question is to
Can donging it, Sandeep too. Sandeep, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, you please tell my people what kind of jobs are the highest paying and what kind of jobs are in demand, you know, because we are basically still so stuck up with, you know, UPSC, because UPSC hardly, you know, in the last 10 years, there's one cookie who got through. I don't know if she'll get IRS. So this is not the end of the world. There are so many other career avenues that are opening up, and the pace, I mean, the opportunities that are coming up in the next few years. What are the areas and what are the highest paying jobs right now in the market for senior positions?
So I'll take it from where you have left. Is one area where there is a lot of high-paying jobs are into analysts, equity analysts. If you MBA finance or marketing, any MBA, if you go for an MBA or a chartered accountant. I mean, I don't know how many people are interested in. So if it's not math science, but
just to interrupt you, we don't have one seat. Sandeep, I'll just interrupt you. You continue. We don't have one single CA in our community. Can you imagine that? That is how undiversified we are. I'm talking of diversification in terms of portfolio, in terms of money. But when it comes to career, we don't even have one CA in our community. There's one who is planning who would be a CA in the next maybe 1 year or 2 years. So you talk a little bit more about that also, because a CA can get into.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, so if you say that which means to say that inclination of doing something like a CFA would also not be there, right?
It's not there.
Right? So, okay, fine. I would see, my advice always has been to see what you are good at rather than, you know, what you think that you are having problems with. If math is a problem, if, you know, doing a CA is a problem, what are your strengths? And I can tell you, and I just covered this point. So again, you know, I'm not going to the fact, your question was which is the highest paying job, and then the other highest paying job are in IT, coding and all, you know. A lot of people are doing well over there. They are VP engineers. They start from, you know, coding, then they Android and, you know, front end, back end, because a lot of startup companies are coming, but that is related to math. So let me also come to something which is more as per what people would want to do. I'm sure there will be people who are good as far as the content writing is concerned, because there's a huge demand in content writing, and people who have that's something which people can do. Then there is digital marketing, as digital marketing again. It's something which is very interesting. That's also high paying. Corporate communication. So those are the areas where one can actually, they are paying, they are high paying jobs. There is a demand, and of course, of late, you're talking about, teaching. That's an area where, and I'm talking about your own community. So there will be, if if you are saying that there are certain, there's not much of a diversification, who's going to do it? I'm sure there will be a lot of people who, like you, have reached to a level where you have met people and you work for banks or organizations. I think to teach one's own community itself, that could also be a high-paying job, because there is a demand for that. And career counseling is one thing. Again, career counseling is one thing. The other thing is psychology, psychiatry. Those are the areas where, again, that is also going to have a huge, huge demand in future. So, and these are all, liberal arts positions. I don't know how much people would be inclined towards the economic side, because that is also political science. Those are the areas where a lot of demands are going to come. Having said that, as I said, I'm sure people from Manipur are very enterprising. They've got many skill sets, and because of this online acceptance is there, one can always sell what one is good at, and there will be a lot of people who would actually latch onto that, and one should have that confidence to do it. So how do you market yourself as an individual if you don't restrict yourself, thinking that this is what I can do, this is not something which I can't do. So those are the careers which one can still look at, and I don't think that there is dearth of talent with the people over there as
well. Sir, in line with what you have just mentioned, where one can pursue as a career, say like a freelancer, content writer. So how a person can kind of find a client to, this type of works or jobs, how they can get in contact with the companies? Can you just guide?
First of all, one should be very good at what one is doing, confident. There are of late, in fact, I'm a Xpertreach where I'm working also there are certain platforms where you can register yourself and clients will call you directly. If you register yourself on the platform, you will actually, there will be bits of open positions. For example, all these startups, they have got this web content, so many of them. They want very good people who could write the content over.
Will you be able to mention some of the kind of platform where one can enroll themselves?
Yes. So I will send that across. There was a company called Elan. In fact, our own company does it, but we do it for a very senior level people. But there are certain platforms where one can register. I will send that information to you and Len, so that people can log in. They can be a member, and there's no charge for that. You can be there's one particular thing which people can again do is keep on writing blogs, so that people would see what kind of talent is there, and then they can be approached. So yes, that is one thing that people earn a lot. I think content writing is there, which one can obviously enroll. I have some names, I knew some names, but let me do my research and verify them and give it to them, to you, so that you can, pass on to people who want to do this.
So that will be very helpful, sir. And over to Pulen again. Pulen injo chun question hola chun. Hola hi sum epaham amount itam nei lo. Sangkat sang ni tiho vel inne kan le tiho chu EPT invest bol thena ding dan lampi umam ti kaisa changloya konin question khat hongim chi chuna hin don bu thei de ham. Hello, Plain, no, mom.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
Hey. Question two.
Yeah, question two.
He sum tam na capital ke tam nei lo. Achang le sang khat sang ni hin nei na ko he jo to EPT invest ke bol thena ding lampi umam ti he.
Hi thei mama na khat eho la Francis in ya to ka say hai khat kin ka explain sangin demat account zero da iti hondam ti Francis in YouTube khat akoi la kilo in na demat account ne ya le share chu dan chu sang khat ne tai na share chu sang khat na share man homjep future a khangdinga mu ho cha cho the na demat account ne masat phot ngain sang khat sang ni ang cho the share min na jichu mutual fund wang chu ya le save jo ka sein ai chu share cho ding chu kyo banga tham khat market na chom khat umje bangai na share cho hi rishong min a return hoi wang rishong min. So if you have around 2000 1000 2000, I would say you should either go for buying mutual funds in small amounts, or you opt for the regular anamuding you opt for SIP. But you buy good company stocks, 700 rupees, 800 based on it. SBI could do na, I think it's around 340. So buy 3 SBI stocks, keep buying it. So by the end of, say, maybe a year, you'll have 30, 40 to 100 to 200 shares. It has all in a portfolio. Tudi ki ho now to sapao to mal be piule he the nam yo ke ye chu ha chu finance e pawa le the lo ta ma tam na ye chu computer e pawa computer I ti ta bang hi chu a concept bo chu ki se the ya a paw ho hi equivalent the lo ki le the lo. So some things you have to, if you need to have more sessions in depth. I say mutual fund we can take maybe 10-15 sessions on mutual fund say hybrid but simple I heading to start investing today. I mean you don't wait. Yon interest tam ta mi pe pa ikine pi jo chiko ya la isum yung thie jo
Pao me ai le tu apaham very practical question neo khat kan do benomin hang pi ni ho kala sum invest ibol na the ibol na sunu he la hang pi a kai mu na hin maru bikiche bo hin hi encourage na bolam asum chu ya ma all like ma lam sam khat kim chu hin ai chu be chu ibol la wa le ho ai saving bol hasa ki sajin ai ni chen encourage na bolam or maruma pansanga chu apaham maruma ise zat khel chu atung zodinga maru bol sanga apachum thading lampi na gelomam as a finance marketing specialist.
Ikat barupi bol na in a way it's like unorganized mutual fund so it's very good, but as long as it's among trusted people na. But eho sum thui ho pau hu We are killing ourselves and also killing our own community people. Na, ये जो 10%, 5% of annual in the annual interest are 60% in it. 5%, 5% are to issue a tea that is chance I think this thing Marup within trusted circle of friends is a very good vehicle, investment vehicle. No tax is involved, nothing complex. It's very good. K personal, na. But now, for example, after your Marup, now if you have more money, where do you put your money? The only thing possible is you can lend your money somewhere. But then if your capital is like gone, what will you do? A question two. Now, when it comes to that kind of situation, when you have more money or when you have money that you can invest, if I'm not wrong, Mauritian ki cigarette company na cigarette ki ju ki stock market na they give 1,000,000 times in 100 years. Stock market it's safer than giving loans at a very high interest rate. Na. Hello, Manipura schemes are the then are danger things. These are what they invest. I think those things you should be careful. But see, stocks are something you can give to your children. Can article had gonna sunin na intraday le had tua new had gonna sunin. His young can share the like how generation well he transfer. For example, India and the rule East India Company, they were what? A company which was basically what? Owned by shareholders. Na? Say in 1600, I have 10 shares of East India Company. Say 10 shares. Would say 100,000 rupees. You never know. I mean, in 200 years, that could be worth 1,000,000 rupees. Nah, that is possible in the stock market because the companies that are listed in the stock market are real companies which are growing. But when you lend money to someone at a higher this thing, it is based on trust. So the chances of your money not coming back is very high. Between trusted friends, it's always wonderful, it works. But when it's big, and when it comes to all this dicey stuff, then the chances of you losing money is very high. 10% on me interest, it's very good. Nah? It's far better than a bank. It beats the inflation rate. And it's even better than some of the best investment stocks in the stock exchange in the short run. But just imagine this guy giving you 10% for 1 year. Second year, he'll think, I have given so much money to this guy. Why should I pay back the principal? The question is, Tale, kahir ke lole Bible ayong ko namne nam ki high interest rate agi pay to he ki phalbe se loa kahir because Muslims they don't allow interest. So the bank lend money to another business as a shareholder, but not as interest. Na Muslim ho amwet. Si Christian ayong neu khat umam gatia yechu. You should not give out money at the high interest. Interest and the payload the tika. The Bible. Theologian or get all ones dear. Why not loan? If there are more questions, we'll take them offline.
As a, finance and marketing specialist. The society hichi sumlapai interest ki pitu do lon hi a course ke mudanin benga loan la hasa aila sumchula ki de kim gangta hichi hota bang je aju hichi ho he anake bol khasi hiding in kata sanin aila hichi ho chu hiti tabanga ju sum kin gang ingai chatna dam moji ham ailo le pam kha chu got a ball gang the way like a lady didn't know he thing like it's to ball day is to interest young and I kill a Z and I keep ball see hitting that in me jota bang serve the thing to bank a hello like itabang investment hello like personal loan ho by lump chala anything lumpy
loan. Let this be the last question. It's boring my thing, but But this is a very important question. So I will answer in cookie. Na? See, the problem with banks is they will give money to people who don't need money. Very funny, na? Because account in Neitai, and if you have a good credit history, they'll give you money. But eho, thing how me ho chun bank account in the lole. Atamzo he unbank you. So unbank means bank account pata nelo tal credit history nelo tinejo. America who na sumne yang la card you should have a credit history, you should have a credit card. Netaya credit civil la yung credit score na. America who credit score the credit score ho ya le sumne lo yang le card na chothe jo sum cash ne yang na chothe lo because the suspicion is that money could be a money laundered money na money from an unknown source na. To eho as a problem beyond the thing how me hiucho. Eho ka emergency sumikila to due thing le bank ala loan gang chalai la thelo ye chu unbank atamzo hiwa tale bank ne honum bank has a lot of procedure na and it takes time. Ati aju hingi kom elo le marup elo le sum lender money lender athoya pyo ko mai laucho. The interest rate is like nothing less than 60% per year, 5% per month to 60% in echo, which is very, very high. 10% like 10% is 120% per year. Hichihu society khanto na ding awan ju iki phiti aho iki humble mi abuya abuy beta la sumong thum biti jo ahi thea lechin nominal 3%. Down now, hichitabo money lending or opportunistic lending ahum phana jo hichi solve na ding ai microfinance company ho hum ki bol ke recho. But microfinance company ho hin 2 to 3% they try to do away the problem of money lender. But ama ho yung itikidam tile account neo cha investment about cost of funding asanja to me pay do otim la they cannot give at a very low interest rate. So overall, I am almost 2.5 to 3% happy per month. Na, it requires a lot of manpower. There's a microfinance company in India, but also even 36% is very high. The solution is banking SBI ho bang to cycle ngai katiding acha ai lawal option khat piham tile ta ICC ki group khat ma jo INP chamber of commerce ho na ama lo INP sumbo ma bolwa hicha he thrift and credit na new na save jo new na save wale mi khat jo member khat abu iteng le aga akila the jo loye pa ko ma nang share chu kele nge ti sum hitia jo ikila to teng le society hi khangding ta le emergency mi khat ju kisu gap lo di na alo le agu achang bong lewa sumla sumpa athoya pe pai in nga teng le society ichan ga ki ngai lut be di ikhan di ye chu society where there is no credit flow it cannot grow business na pat diong le credit na ngai cha if you want to do any new initiative entrepreneur ho yong ki pat ding le they need credit ichi ho society a bank pa hi SBI ho adang dang ho public opinion ahi CSO to ikithuwa every unbank area hi lead bank khari kai lut diu plus eho ka ahi thrift and credit ahi ki go komwa new saving ball pau hi na eho ka ikpi to temule chan ham khat dia money lending pa stop temule i society wa hasat na tu ale gente che ho yo humang the diam tin kai ka gele oh
Pao me kahin one last question khatla utin nanga tautin che pulet cha haukema ko na hin may you suggest good stocks to buy at present mid cap and small caps yeah
honestly key advice wang chile you do your own research na stock the tan direct at na because see, I also get a lot of advice from other people and I also do my own research after that. about mid cap but got it at the specific one say to him in to experience LNT can partisan gazuina Larson and Tubro and bang ahin ICICI bang in tula chun ahung name le so I bought a chunk of ICICI shares. Adang mang say the in a small cap. I'm a bit careful because the market is at the high. Investment stock hon to I hit you to the market is a bit high at this point and it's a bit volatile. So wait for it a little more, maybe another 2 to 3 months, and then once it cools down, you invest. You can't time the market, but two current situation I personally feel the market is at the peak. So just wait a little bit, maybe a month or so, and then ICICI Bank, so I think it's worth more than 700 rupees. So if I get it at 689, I buy it. And then there's a company called small cap, it's a company called Delta Core. I also got the advice from a friend. Fundamentals teach you a company, a balance sheet, a company governance, and future plan. So joy ki invest I think small cap as a Delta Core I think would come under small cap because they are Goa based company they're into casinos and they're into entertainment. So I pandemic hong ki chaiting len mi se Goa chaiting casino hong ki chaiting. So that is the thing. That's what I think it'll grow. So I'm planning to pick up a good chunk of Delta Core this thing on the good stock, not mid cap, but on the higher stock, blue chip company also. I think LNT is a good bet because there is a huge trust on infrastructure, and LNT any day would be a very good share to hold on.
Thank you, Paomin.
We can have another session on careers and this thing, but finance too is a hard job society. One, the terms are very difficult to explain, and simple you buy this, you don't buy this, but the risk has to be borne by the person who's buying it. So if any person says this is a good stock, buy it, then don't ever believe it. You should do your own research. The final note of question that I want to give to the listeners is always do your own research, and please let us increase our financial intelligence in our community. Ita asa idam thin a responsibility the financial health a responsibility. So yes, you can ask around, you can learn from friends, but please do your own research and your own exercise as well.
Paume hiti tabangay ma own research evolving het be nominate tunil ha resource person pu len Chongloui jong e in do ki do theu he tiang chu ga sei no movin tun phat chai na lang na mano tau hitin word of thanks le phat chai na hin sim ningin pu Dr. S Chongloui phat ka hin pe, and once again thank you to Sir Sandeep Nair for such valuable talks. Great inputs. Thank you so much, sir. I now call Dr. S. Chongloui to propose word of thanks and close the meeting.
Khangdong Lamhil som ngale khat sanna webinar ho jong phate chai man the ki jeun pathin thangwa uitin ade sedin som ngale khat ve hi tulai igam sungu wai ngai chan ho thil tam pi sei na hin mano hin tunila jong chu chu ta bang khat cho hin je chun ke ho tam langa ho ding hin I chan gyam khat in phachum be se the hi long le ti chu phachum nan tin ka het thei lo tamin aje chu pa ei sei pe finance chung chang ho ta bang jong chu pastor ho ding a cho he da khat hin aje bai fe na Vaiphei na hingo dinga chu thil bai be se lo kha dei in la Khangdong tampi chun na phat chum pi diu ka ta sanin so le sum tu iti invest bola kunung tiang le I hat mo ge a yong man cha thei sum ki nei te ding ham ti ho hi thil kho ta khat choi retirement zo tiang yong le man cha thei na lai ding thil ki gun ding hi dam lai sunga chu kin kho ta cho hi ti khat hi pate chanin sei peun so le e hon thing la ngai ki man cha ho apa ham tai gen tam ta jong hi gen thei be che na au be che na hoi choi man na hoi choi man da thi ham ti ho jong ei sei so phale jeng ki pa ka sai e je chun tuni la thu in se ya ka so pi pa ka nau pa lin Chongloui le Sandeep Nair chunga ki pa thu se yo lo Khangdong Lamhil minin ka hin phongin chole ong kai khom officer ho pastor ho ai lo le Khangdong ho de se ne tam zoi Khangdong hi win no zo sin na phat chum piu le I bol lo hi hi ti chu ka ta sang lien pen ta kha hin pang khom jingoi tin thanom tan pang jingoi ti ti yang chu Khangdong Lamhil director hi na ka hin se in tin so le to our brother Sandeep Nair, we are so happy to have you tonight in our midst. Especially, I'm not sure whether you have been with us before. If you have not been before with us, and then this would be your first experience with us. And I believe your inputs will really bring fruits, especially to young ones among the Kuki people. And honestly, people like us, pastors and religious leaders, it's very hard to understand the language and the terms that you have used, because sometimes we have done things by faith.
No, always you have to do things by faith.
By faith,
but people are
faith.
Welcome to call me anytime. But yeah, okay. Everything has to be done by faith only.
Yeah. And then that faith and what you said faith is a little bit different. What I said faith is totally different. But still good, because we need to know all those things. Because even after our retirement, what would be our expense would be more and more, and then our income will be very less. And then how both of you have mentioned about how to invest and where to invest and how much we need to invest. And those really help us to understand something that we can do today, now. But for the youths, I believe that was wonderful. And I believe that will be really benefited for the young ones. Thank you very much to Brother Sandeep and Brother Lin. Kipame ichuga say the sunin tin taun hen mang ka te tau te pakai ka pathin tam sela ka phat ho nei chai sa thei jion ka kipa namin lo pi ka thang ba nei hitabanga thuen sei pe wa len la Sandeep chunga jong kipa thu ka seyun amani la in sung mi te ho zo se yong phat phi bua ki thu pi jing ding in long da lung set ku to na ngai chan ka taw pi nei so le hum kai khom ho zo se jong pathin nang man phat chom pi na pen lang alung thim sung wa het na chi na nei be wa so le sum hi iti man cha de ham iti ching thei ta handle ka bol thei diu ham ti ho e hil na ho tam pi chu man cha pai pa ya hin khu pha pui thei na dingin nang man ki thu pi che dinga da lung set ko to na ngai cha ni ma ka ta hi pathin aba na jong nang man e pui ki nun lang akit Saturday yong la ki pa la thano mo ka ki khop khom kit ma win na lung set tha til bol thei nan pi win lang e ki thu pi win tia ke ho ka hi win ka pha do hin na khu na kan lan do ba e ngai do weng jing ka pakai Jesus Christa me na ka ta hi amen jing Sunday ni la pung sa gi teng le Reverend Dr. Ne Hulal Ong Sai Bolma umahin ama ho lima pang dehin thanom tan cha jong na pangkin hote kya ka hin tem le